Hey folks, Malforian here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a feature that was at the end of Crusader Kings 2, and that I think should come back in Crusader Kings 3. And what was that feature? Well, it was the Monarch's Journey, as the thumbnail and title probably gave away before you even heard this. And what was this feature? Well, it was basically to build up to the launch of Crusader Kings 3. It was a bunch of mini achievement runs that you could do. They came out every 2 weeks. They were focused on a different character in different time frames across the game and very different kind of situations. And you basically could earn bronze, silver, or gold in 3 challenges. The points that you earned from these unlocked a bunch of cosmetics in Crusader Kings 3. As I said, this was like a build-up celebration, and then you got to use those in Crusader Kings 3. Now, these unlocks have actually been released anyway in Crusader Kings 3 now. I can't remember which patch it was, but they were basically added in so everyone could play them. And they're no longer locked behind this old system. You just got to use them early if you had done these. And these challenges were really fun. Now, why do I think these should come back? Well, the one thing I've noticed in Crusader Kings, and it's a little bit different to, say, Stellaris or even Hoi 4, you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I kind of find that we have DLC come out. We have like a month before that where we get dev diaries, we get news, we get all that good stuff. And then we have a couple of weeks afterwards where there's a little bit of hype around it. And then it seems like for Crusader Kings 3, it kind of goes a little bit dead until the next DLC is coming out. And when we've had larger gaps in that, it's kind of like nothing's really going on in the game. There's no hype happening. There's no talk really from the studio about what's happening. Little cool things that we could be kind of getting interested in. We're basically just kind of left with what we have. And I often see the community kind of getting a bit restless, kind of like, what's going on? Where's the news? Where's the next thing? Where's the Byzantine rework? Come on, where is it, Paradox? Where's the Merchant Republics? And I think this system should come back for basically in those gaps where you've had DLC come out, you're not wanting to announce the next DLC, and this system would basically bring something to keep us busy, basically. Now, as I said, when it first came in, it was every 2 weeks. It wouldn't necessarily even have to be every 2 weeks. They could release one of these like every month after a DLC comes out or something. You could even focus them around the DLC, which would be really cool, because the ones that they did do for Crusader Kings 2 were themed around the expansions, or they basically said, we recommend you have this expansion to get the most out of this challenge. I just think it would make it interesting. It'd give the community something to work on. It would give us something to talk about. And obviously, on a bit of a selfish note, it would give me easy content to do on the channel every month. I could just do these videos very much like I did. I think I live streamed them in Crusader Kings 2 back when I was on Twitch, and I think we just live streamed it every time they were out, kind of working through and getting the most out of the mini achievements that we could. So if you never actually went through this system, or maybe you've never heard of it, if Crusader Kings 3 is your first entry into the series, or you played CK2, dropped off, and then just came back for CK3, you might not have heard about it. So we're going to take a look at 3 of these. As I said, I kind of wanted to show these in-game, but there's no way to do it. They got taken out of the game for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's a cool system. So for example, here is Llywelyn the Great, Duke of Gwynedd. Llywelyn, I'm not going to try pronounce the rest. I'm not that crazy. Will unify Wales through a great war strategy and diplomacy with the kings of England and the princes of Wales. He had troubles with marcher lords, often finding himself fighting in border disputes, while also forming many alliances with the rulers of the Marches. In 1234, he brought peace to Wales, which remained until his death in 1240. And as you can see, the starting date was 1195, so it wasn't 1066, it wasn't 867 or 786 or whatever the start date was in Crusader Kings 2. I can't remember. I've not played that game since CK3 came out, I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I'll put a screenshot on if I can find one, exactly how these looked. You basically had these 3 tiers. So the first challenge was Dragon's Fire, basically conquer Wales as this character. And once you did that, you earned bronze, silver, or gold. Now for this one, it was only gold. There was no bronze or silver. You basically just had to conquer these places. The second part was Princes of Wales. Whilst holding the Kingdom of Wales, you must have as many vassals as possible be of your own dynasty. Have them retain the title of Duke or higher. Your character must be an independent ruler. The ruler and vassals must also be of Welsh culture. Progress continues as long as you play your featured ruler's dynasty. So this one, for example, you didn't have to do it during his lifetime. There are some later on that you did have to do that. In fact, I think the very next kind of third mini achievement is one of those. And you could earn bronze, silver, or gold. Have 3, have 6, or have 9. And then love spoons. Marry as many of Llywelyn's children to those of English culture as you can. Only the English spouses with titles or claims count towards the challenge. Married children and their spouses must be alive to count towards this challenge. Obviously, if they're dead, it doesn't work. This challenge is only accomplishable during his lifetime. So this was one that was a lot harder. I kind of disliked these ones that were like, during the first character's lifetime you had to do something, because a lot of them were down to chance whether you could do it or not. Some of them were just so kind of weird that you had to basically just restart the game constantly to try hit them. But this one, for example, is have 2, have 3, have 4 children with qualifying spouses, and yeah, you just earn gold, silver, or bronze, and you earn the points, and then obviously if you gold all 3 of these, you got the maximum points. All these were fantastic. You know, another one here, Louis II, the Stammerer, King of Aquitaine. He was crowned twice, the second time by the Pope, after succeeding his father's rule of West Francia. 3 of his sons would become kings of West Francia, the last of which would be known as Charles III the Simple, with a reputation of being straightforward. Okay, so you learned something as well doing these. It was quite interesting. And again, there were 3 different challenges. French Toast, hold the kingdoms of France and Aquitaine, completely controlling their de jure provinces, and form the Empire of Francia. Progress continues as long as you play the featured ruler's dynasty. So again, you didn't have to do this during his lifetime. His unfulfilled dream. King Louis passed away before he could see his dream of a northern crusade. Kill as many characters of the Germanic faith as possible. Reformed Germanic pagans also count. Norse characters of one of these traits count as 2 points. So if you killed a Viking, a Ravager, a Sea King, a Sea Queen, a Berserker, or a Shield Maiden, you actually had 2 points towards this, which was cool. The challenge can only be accomplished during his lifetime, though. 4 kill points, 7 kill points, or 10 kill points. So you just had to find those Vikings or Shield Maidens, basically, and just kill them. And that made this quite easy. But again, a little fun achievement to work towards, something a little bit different that you wouldn't necessarily do. And then why don't you like me? Make those vassal dukes like you. Get as many with plus 65 opinion as possible. This challenge is only accomplishable during his lifetime. And again, 4, 6, or 8 vassals had to just like you a lot. And then you unlocked that gold. And then the last one we'll have a look at here is Harald Hardrada. He was the king of Norway, spent most of his time fighting legendary battles, joining his first in 1030 at the age of 15. Exiled, he was sent to the Kievan Rus, where he eventually became captain in the army of Yaroslav the Wise, and later a commander of the Byzantine Varangian Guard. He would eventually claim England, but lose his life at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, starting the end of the Viking Age. Obviously, such a cool story that he has. It's amazing, really, what he got up to in his lifetime. And then the 3 challenges again were harder than steel, hold the kingdoms of Norway and England, and completely control their de jure provinces. Progress continues as long as you played his dynasty, and again, just gold for that one if you hit the requirements. Hide the pain, Harald. Kill as many members of King Harald II's dynasty, the Godwins, as possible. Deaths caused by other members of your dynasty also count. Continues as long as you play the featured ruler's dynasty. This one was really cool, actually. I remember doing it where you had to just keep going in and trying to kill Godwins and trying to get as many as possible. And then obviously people from your dynasty killing theirs also helped. So again, you were trying to hope that they killed people as well, and it wasn't just you trying to murder everyone. Or you could kill them in battle. It was a cool system. I loved how you had to work through these and the different ways of doing it. And then with an iron fist, crush as many revolts as possible. Crush those who would rise up to oppose your rule. And then this would continue during the ruler's dynasty playthrough. Now, this was one of the ones that was a little bit more annoying because you had to have revolts to even get any progress in here. Very much like CK3. You had plenty of revolts in CK2, but it was one of the more annoying ones where you had to kind of play in a weird way to make sure revolts happened and then crush them afterwards. And it was 4, 8, or 12 for this one. And yeah, you just worked through this, got gold, and then waited for the next one to come out. And I think there was about 12 of these in total. They were all around the map. Armenia, Bosnia, Wallachia, Lithuania, Serbia, the Grand Mayor of Gotland, Samos, Baghdad, and Brittany. Some of them focus more around Europe. Obviously in CK3, we have a bigger map. We have more areas to play, some more interesting places to play. You could have these all around the map. Now, we do only have 2 start dates, which obviously would limit this system if they did bring it in. You could only have it 867 and 1066, but there's got to be enough interesting characters. And to be honest, although these ones were historically focused and told a story of a character that actually existed, if you go to the wiki, I'll leave a link to this in the description down below, you can click on these names, it will take you to the Wikipedia page for them, and you can read all about their history and things like that, exactly why they chose them basically as one of these focus characters. And there must be enough of these in either 1066 or 867 where they could do these, and as I said, they wouldn't have to be every 2 weeks. Maybe you could do these once a month. Just pick a random ruler. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like a super famous ruler or something. They could just make up some of these. These were focused around like historical kind of things that they did or like aspects of that real person. But they could just pick a duke from somewhere and just say, here's 3 targets, try do these 3 things. And it would just, I think, bring like an interesting thing for us to do every month. But having something like this, like every month to just come in, play, try do our best. We can talk about it on the forums, on Reddit, in the Discord, everywhere. I just think would be really interesting for getting some like hype or just some interest in the game during these lulls between DLC, where I try working through the achievements in the game, but sometimes I just want like a smaller campaign to do, but I kind of hate playing the game with no target to do. I really don't do that. In fact, I don't think I've ever done that in CK3. I think I've always had some kind of target, even if it's something that I've kind of imposed upon myself. Like, we did the Coastal Conquest series. I will try and leave a link to that in the description as well, where we tried to conquer as much of the coastline of anywhere on the map as Heisteen before he died, and just saw like how far we could get and things like that, kind of self-imposed achievements or targets. I do really struggle trying to play this game without any target. I can't just boot the game up and just do like, oh, I'm going to pick this guy and just randomly play the game. I just don't find that interesting. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would you be interested in this system? Would it be something that you'd want to do? They wouldn't even necessarily have to do any kind of reward from it, but they could do that. You know, they could just have like a random cosmetic you get for achieving it every month, and then even just say, look, in 6 months, this cosmetic will go into the game for everyone, but if you do these kind of mini achievements, you'll get it now. And it's a bit of a bonus for doing it, but I don't even think they'd have to do that necessarily. I think just having the system in there would be interesting to do, and would just give us that thing to kind of keep the game fresh whilst we waited for more content or something along those lines. But anyway, that's enough for today on this subject. I just remembered this system randomly today, and I just thought, do you know what? It'd be amazing if this came to CK3, just to keep us entertained, as I've said. But let me know. Would you be hyped for it? Would you not? Would you want them to basically just redo the ones they did previously? Or is there a character anywhere on the map where you think, oh, it'd be cool if they did this character and these could be roughly what they could work towards? And if there's a lot of cool ones in the comments, I might make another video and we can look at the character in game and kind of think how that could work. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here and this is the first video you've seen on the channel. I cover Crusader Kings and historical strategy games on the channel, but we'll leave it there. I'll see you in the next one.